I believe it should be on us now. Whew. Welcome in, welcome back, everybody. It is that time. On to match 3. I am joined by SÆSEA, whatever he likes to be called. I've done so much yapping during the last match that I'm just going to go ahead and let him take over, introduce himself, and say what he'd like about this upcoming match.
Yeah, it's me, Say. I played in the first match today with Satan against Noya and Wanderer. Like, it was a very good match, and we had a lot of fun watching the last match before. Like, to be honest, they played clean, like more cleanly than we did. It was very fun to watch. They were very good. They were locked in. So now we see a bit more active people in Bingo Club. I'm gonna be quite happy to cast them, like Pipit Jack hiding from me, be going in base game against Loci, my one true teammate, but it's okay. Like, he's bailing him out. And after that, Nike, very experienced base game player, and Champa, like the Norwegian menace. So yeah, I'm happy to see what they've got cooking for us. So yeah. Also here to be made fun of by the way I say some words. Like, sorry about my accent. So that's about it.
Don't worry, you're in the commentary hot seat. That's how things go. I'm very excited for this match as well. I was hyping it up before the break. The one thing that I'm really excited to see here is that in the previous matches, it's a little bit harder to discern what players are going to go for, right? Because especially in the match between you and Satan versus Noya and Wander, we have some incredibly good prolific players that have done a lot of things like rando and challenge runs recently, and so your mind might be in a completely different headspace than a lot of the bingo players who have just been doing bingo. This match is just bingo. These players have been playing pretty much exclusively bingo non-stop for the past year. We have some phenomenal bingo players, and it'll be a lot easier for the two of us to kind of get into the mind of what they're thinking, and I think they'll make some really, really smart plays. Whereas if I were to say we were going to see some exciting new strategies from our game 2, our game 1 was going to be like really good execution, I think is what I was looking forward to. This game, I'm really curious to see how the players read the board, because I think this match has some incredibly good players when it comes to reading the board and keeping a cool head. So,
yeah, well, there's a bit of tendency from some of our players, or in this match, like of what we call ego fighting. Like, yeah. Oh, I'm dying once or twice to the same boss. I will have my revenge, and then throwing the rest out of the window. But let's hope the teammates will be able to contain them. I'm not naming them, but they know who
if
they are.
Rolana is center square, we know what's going to happen. That's all that we're going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I think it is the time that we go ahead and get everything going.
Yeah, they seem to be ready. It's nice.
Okay, I just went ahead and sent in the chat, making sure that they know that we are about to start. So I'm going to go ahead and randomize a new board for everybody here. Actually, real quick, before I even get that ticking down, let's get to the correct scene real quick. And now, a moment that we've all been waiting for, starting the match.
Let's go.
All right, what do we hope to see here?
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more spread out stuff. Like in some of the regions we had, like in some of the matches we had regions that were very good, especially DLC. Like I would like to have like more spread out stuff and more combo stuff combo squares that can be done early, because it was mostly like two separate players doing their things in a lot of the games.
Well,
And if you look
immediately,
right now, yeah.
yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
So on base game, we have Margit parries with 6 bosses in Limgrave, which synergizes, as well as Bloodhound Knight Darrowell. So I think that we're going to see Bloodhound Knight summoning Blyde done early, maybe Margit parries into those Limgrave bosses. Dragonheart bosses also works with that with a Geel. But other than that, Elemer the Briars and Altus, you have Godskin Noble and Volcano Manor. You have 4 Black Knife Assassins, which are kind of spread out all over the place. There's 1 in Limgrave, but other than that, you do have to go elsewhere. Ancestor Spirit in Underground, and then Moog Sewers in Capital. Meanwhile, on the DLC side, you have Golden Hippo kind of promoting this front side with Consort Radon, but then backside with Golden Braid, and then even
really
south with
like
Ancient Dragon Man.
I really like some of the combo squares you can see as well. Like for 3 of each bot, kind of quick to do for both players. There's the bolt balls as well, like Everjail balls and Ansys balls that are quicker to do. Legendary ashes, there's 2 in DLC that are quite easy to grab, and you also have bottom right, the 2-handed sword talisman for the combo. So like combo squares go well together on this board. So this can be something interesting. Like leave a bit of your own stuff to the side for a while, and then go back to it later and do the combo stuff. Like
there's also an interesting thing with
you go towards back section, you have Golden Braid, you have 2-3 spirits for the DLC player, you also have 4 FT pot by itself. Like it's a good rush square on this one.
Yeah, I also wanted to point out, like, even if you do something like going for Legendary Spirit Ashes early, which might seem like a bit of a throw, there is a Legendary Spirit Ash in Weeping Peninsula, which counts as Limgrave for this event. And so you get a Limgrave boss by doing that, and while your DLC player is synergizing Legendary Spirit Ashes with 2-handed Sword Talisman, you get the Blue Dancer. That's another boss in Limgrave. You suddenly have 2 bosses in Limgrave by going for these 2 combined squares. And even on top of that, like, your DLC player could be picking up pots. You could get the Graces for the Everjalensis Bowls. There's a lot of really, really aggressive plays in terms of combined squares, with the only, I would say, kind of out of the way combined square being those 3 Everjails and 2 Jails.
Yeah, but it's not that bad. Like for the base game player, 3 Everjail is not that much. The limiting factor is mostly the 2 Jails for the DLC. And like if you go like towards the south with ADM, like you have the Human Swordsman, you're kind of close to Lamenter. That can be a shout.
I'm actually curious on your thought here. I noticed a little bit of a synergy. You have 3 of each pot, 4 hefty pots, Demi-Human Swordsman, and 2 Jails. The Demi-Human Jail might be a very interesting play to do somewhat early, because you could get the Demi-Human Swordsman and pick up 3 hefty pots there, which means you could be ahead on grabbing that.
It's nice synergy, but I feel like it's a bit slow. It will bring you another Elm that doesn't belong to any armor set, though, so that can be nice as well. So
there's a lot of synergy on it.
It could be very good, but I feel like it might be a bit too much of a slow play. But like, it would take the other team by surprise, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'd be interested in seeing, especially like looking at Way of Loci and Pepijak. They are, I think, pioneers of coming up with some crazy strategies to try and get ahead on majority. And I think if any team is going to make those sort of aggressive calls, they might be the one to do it.
And we see already both teams have different approaches. Like the base game players did not choose the same class, so not the same weapons. The DLC players, one is going towards the jail, like maybe good for Katana check, while the other one is going further towards Shadow Altus, prioritizing the map, probably the pots, if you think about it. So they do not have the same plan, and that's interesting.
I also want to go ahead and point this out with the difference in weapon. I know that you're more of a DLC guy. The Grave Scythe is a really nice weapon to get online for double status. However, Square Off is one of the most bonkers overpowered Ashes of War in the game early. So I like this approach of, it seems like Jack is prioritizing setting up and getting a good weapon for later in the game, whereas Nike is being much more aggressive and saying, let me go ahead and get square off so I could get these early kill squares, which we do know there are quite a few here in the base game.
This probably means that there was no good parry shields at the beginning because Mark gets 6 parries is on there, so none of them has a parry shield, so they might go towards, I assume, Liurnia to go check if there is one.
Yes. I also think it's a very interesting, I think it's an interesting decision to kind of maybe not go for Margit parries at all. Like, I think it's actually maybe a good call. Because if we look, the diagonals tend to usually be more aggressive plays. And you do have 6 bosses in Limgrave, which is nice on the diagonal, but Margit parries isn't in the best spot. And especially considering it's in a line with, like, the Charo's Deathrite Bird, the Godskin Noble. It's with the 3 Everjails and 2 Jails. And the other line that it's in has Metter, Mother of Fingers, which doesn't have a ton of synergy on this board. I think it's a good decision to say, hey, maybe Margit parries isn't the rush square. I'll go get it maybe second or third square.
Yeah, and if we look at Jack's perspective, we have a tiny bit more info. We have his face, first of all, but we have a bit of the board, and we see he's overing the 3 of each pot, so that might be the plan. The DLC are easier to grab and faster to grab, so that's probably why Loci went for his weapon first. And I see Loci missed Tiolier skip. My man, always better to miss it first try than doing it, so I guess he's got an advantage on Champa, who succeeded first. Yeah. But yeah, like, Tiolier skip can be a bit of a menace, claiming another victim, but
unfortunately, because of this decision, I think by making that decision to kind of get 3-path Cross Grace early, and I believe did a weapon check, got the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, will have that extra weapon knowledge, knowing like what weapon I have to grab, but will likely lose on 3 of each pots because it looks as though not only is Nike ahead of Jack, but also Champa is ahead of Loci. So they'll likely get sniped on that first square, which is a bit unfortunate.
We're probably going to see if the axe check in Bonnie Village is good, because if it is very good, like, missing Katana is not that bad.
That is the only weapon it could have probably been to beat a Great Katana, but that is huge.
You can very easily just grab the Savage Claw and the Glinsold Wetblade, and now you have double status, good procs, good everything. I don't think Champa is going to be behind on the weapon at all, so... Yep, that was one hell of a find. You must be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I've kind of been sleeping on this axe check. It is one of the most important checks that you can do, because it is one of the looks like we got the 3 pots already marked.
Yep. Loci continuing towards Mort's Rune in response to this. Might be looking at killing Hippo now, because he took time to get the weapon, and if they got beaten on the pots, that means he's in front for this. But that also means that 4 FT pot is going to be coming very soon.
I was going to say, I'm curious if Champa's going to close. Champa looks like he's just going to close, saying, you know what? Because grabbing that first Grace there, I thought, oh, to come back for Hefty Pots, but it looks like that's not the plan. It's just go straight for the Hefty Pot now. It also means you could grab this Grace, and then it's easier when you need to do 2 jails potentially later on during the match.
It's interesting to me, he bought the Twiggy Crystal tier, so he might be aiming to die at a couple of more places this game. Like, you drink the Physic, and die, and keep your runes. Like, normally you would just use the Talisman, the little sacrificial twig, if you just mean to die once, but that means you might be aiming to grab a lot of stuff before. But, yeah, tough to know exactly what it's gonna be.
Drinking the Physic to grab a Hefty Pot, that's for the Twiggy, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So, interesting that we don't just yeet ourselves off the cliff and instead decides to get punched, but that's fine. It works.
Yep. Good mark as well.
We have
Kale
a
is
Kale
dying.
fight
Yeah.
for the Bloodhound Knight Summoning Blade. This is going to be a very early 3-0 lead in favor of Nike and Champa. I think this is one of their big strengths, is they are very aggressive early game players.
And now we see probably ADM for Loci. Yep, he's going towards it, blocking one of the line. Also, the human swordsman is in there, so this might be very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
If they get both. Jack is going to grab money, probably prepping for his weapon. So they seem to be going for a late game kind of thing. Like, let them do a couple of early squares, and then we will beat them to it.
Yeah, the problem is getting forced into some of these harder squares. With Bloodhound Knight Summoning Blade down, Elamur suddenly becomes this really important square for Jack of Loci here because, I mean, other than that, you're forced into 4 Black Knife Assassins or Consort Radon. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the base game, but Black Knife Assassins, outside of the first 2 or 3, the 4th one suddenly becomes a lot harder. Because you have the 2 catacombs for fast, but then
I think we saw a strat of killing some of the Ordina invisible ones to have access to a couple of them, but they are invisible, so it makes it quite a bit more of a challenge, so we don't know how Jack is comfortable with it. But it's Jack, he might have practiced it for 20 hours and decided that it was very easy. Like, we never know with him.
You could also go and pick up the Sentry Torch, but I'm not sure if this board really incentivizes you doing it. It does push you towards Moog Sewers, but other than that, it's not really a play that I would be looking to go for.
So it is not ADM in this time. It feels like it's Golden Hippo for...
Yeah. Looks like grabbing a Grace towards ADM, but then deciding, hey, let's get that Hippo, and then try to double square it up, if not immediately going for Hippo. Like, if Loci is not going for Hippo, let me go ahead, upgrade my weapon, get the kill on Hippo, have a Grace towards ADM, instantly go there.
Yeah. No, the Gaia's disagreement is putting the foot on the pedal. Like, really want to kill stuff. And Champa has the Yeoman Killer Cleaver. You can also remove, like, just keep Wild Strikes on it to kill ADM. Like, it's an NPC shredder. You could decide to go for it right now.
Yeah.
And continue that line.
Wild Strikes on ADM is so silly.
If Bloodhound Knight is dead with Blight, so yeah. They're gonna have a very scary line. And the Blue Dancer talisman is given in the Limgrave as well.
Yes.
If I recall. So that's
it is
another
a cave
boss.
It's interesting to note, and I think that this is really important. There's a couple things in that area. The closest Grace is right next to a Black Knife Assassin, meaning that if you go to do Limgrave bosses, you can pick up a Black Knife Assassin in the Catacomb, then immediately drop down. There's a Spirit Spring for you to do the Guardian Golem Cave for that Dancer Charm.
Yeah. But they do not seem to be going for this column 5 for now.
No. I also
it's gonna be a
think
Hippo race, but Loci is in front for it. Like, unless an incident, this should be no problem. We should also see
mark
now
on the Bloodhound. Zamor's Curve Sword
the...
is actually a big pickup here. So we see Golden Halberd.
Script for Hippo with Grey Katana. Just
nice.
Charge attack, charge attack. Does it without any problem.
Wow, a lot going on in this last couple seconds. The one thing I want to pick up on while we're watching the Golden Hippo fight is Jack picked up Golden Halberd, whereas Nike has Zamor's Curve Sword, checking the gate front, and gets Death's Poker, one of the best weapons in the entire game, especially in base game. So Nike
after doing
is in a really good spot.
Early stuff, Nike is just like, let me grab a different weapon, looking what is the best for me. I have time, we have a threat, we have a line. I can check to get whatever I want, basically.
Now we're in this really interesting situation where Loci will get the first dibs to move after marking the golden hippo. First square for Jack of Loci. Being the first to move is huge here because if you immediately go ADM, but the death might
he
actually
died.
save Champa a little bit here because if Champa decides to pivot to ADM right now, that Wild Strikes will destroy ADM far faster than the Great Katana will.
And
so we're seeing the race.
To ADM, but no,
Locai's
Loci
not
ported to ADM and then he ported back towards tree path.
Interesting. Maybe
I
Loci
do not know
has
what he's
figured out
looking
that there's a
for.
bit of a race and wants to do something else instead. This could be also a bit of a ploy by Jack. We're
the
seeing
bulls.
bulls, so we're looking for the double
Yes.
bulls play. Maybe there's something that Jack sees and is like, hey, don't go for ADM right now. Let's close out on this bulls. I think it's a more important square for some reason. What that reason
Do you
is,
think
I
they
haven't figured
might-
out yet.
They might be looking at that diagonal, but the Limgrave boss is nothing for Jack right now. Like it's an ever jail, sure,
Yeah.
but nothing much more than that. I
Maybe
feel like
they're
it's a
trying to
bit too
force their
slow.
opponent into it, but 6 bosses in Limgrave is highly synergistic on this board. It's like the
Yeah.
only synergistic play on this board.
I feel like doing balls right here is kind of a way to, hey, we exist, like we are doing stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
letting Loci continue on his streak of going for squares after doing one and then pivoting would have worked better for them. Of course, they do not know that. Like, they do not know where Champa is. They do not know that Golden Hippo is a snipe. But
Yeah.
now it kind of forced and put Champa in a situation to go do one of the best squares for his team in this occasion. So
Yeah.
they will be quite happy about that.
It also moves him towards that demi-human swordsman, 6 bosses, Limgrave, and Blue Dancer. This game could be over by just 1 mark at ADM if the opposing team's not careful.
Yeah, and like it brings you closer to the Deathrite Bird as well. So another square that you can do. It's access for Meter eventually.
It's also important to note on the base game side, 6 bosses, Limgrave, Nike has killed the Darrowell boss and is now going for Margit parries. Unfortunately, using a medium shield, this is going to be a little bit tougher, but choosing to go for that square now, if he can close out on it,
It is a Limgrave, so
you now have 2 Limgrave bosses, which Jack just doesn't have. He's pushing towards Elemer to block that row 3, but that's not the threat that Nike's even looking at closing out on.
yeah. No, this last line can become very, very difficult.
The good
And
news,
Champa is not using Wild Strike. I'm surprised by this.
I'm very surprised as well. Especially since I know that he's currently playing in a format where Wild Strikes is the meta, and you just Wild Strikes ADM and he doesn't do anything. He just stands there like a lemon.
Did he put an Ashravor on? Not even.
No,
so...
he does have Wild Strikes. I'm not sure if he is aware of
maybe a
how
bit of
strong this
nerve?
Ash of War is.
Yeah, maybe a bit of nerves. Or maybe he wants to let ADM have a chance, like being a gentleman. Like
He wants Loci to have a chance too,
challenge.
because this is what Loci needs to maybe sneak in and get Demi-Human Swordsman. I think it's very easy once you mark a square to like, oh, let me pivot out and make a little bit of map progress. But if Loci's right on the tail, maybe you could sneak in and get Demi-Human Swordsman.
Yeah. And ADM dead soon.
Yep.
No curse.
Looks like we got the kill
And it
on
is.
ADM. So that is a devastating mark here.
And look how he's stuck in this. Like, he cannot go out until he kills a ADM or a Memory of Grace, but you want to kill him, so.
We do have a little bit of good news is that, well, for the enemy team here, for Jack of Loci, Nike is struggling a little bit on this Margit parries while Jack is going through the Elemer Castle, which maybe could save their team a little bit of time overall.
Yeah, he had to reset the fight, and medium parry doesn't look that nice for him. And like, if he fails once again, like we might be seeing what I said about ego fighting. Like, I will get this square, I will get this fight, even though it's not going well. Instead of resetting and doing something else, like he just died.
Ooh, we have a death in the Shaded Castle as well. So we have two deaths here. Margit parries and Jack flashing go next on the board. Okay.
Oh,
We are
that
seeing a
is what
little
I
bit of
said about-
disparage.
Yeah, this is what like keeping yourself in the game is can be hard. Like,
This is one of those things that I brought up in the game that y'all had earlier, especially where this is a brand new format. You're not doing these squares at the usual time that you're thinking about doing them, which even if it's, oh, I know this fight, I've done Elemer 1,000 times, I've run through Shaded Castle 1,000 times, of course I know how to do this. It's so easy to kind of get into your own head on a new format like this, especially when you are under pressure, because like you're just not used to doing these specific objectives at this specific time, and sometimes that throws you off.
Died again. We saw Nike pivoting from Margit. Jack died again.
Rivers
Trying
of
to shake it
Blood
off
dropped by
was-
ADM.
He's obviously not happy about it. He also did not add time to grab back his runes, so he might have lost a lot of money. Don't know how he had before. But I think flashing goal next is not the solution. Like,
Yeah,
this
is still a very winnable game,
Yes.
but Loci also making the decision to pivot here to buy talismans. That could be what loses the Demi-Human Swordsman, which is a very dangerous prospect to be in, because Nike is now heading towards the Blue Dancer charm.
And we saw Champa doing a bit of progress towards base Rao, so
Yeah,
he might. Yeah, no, this line is starting to look like complete shutdown. Like bingo in about 30 minutes. It could be even less than that.
yeah. This brings up something that I wanted to address a little bit when it comes to bingos is players do agree for this format. We had to talk about it where it's bingo club. It's not majority club. Bingos do kind of make these threats. And while it is easier for two players to mark these squares and make bingo lines happen.
Jack died again a third time with the dog on the elevator. This is...
It's
But
also a situation where
he's in the stake. He has the stake. He could
Yeah.
take the stake of America.
if we look at
That's
these
good, that's good.
players, they had some opportunities to see this line early and counter it, right? I think Jack especially is maybe getting in his own head a little bit, which could be clouding his judgment.
But like as we said, like majority club, like bingo club, yeah, bingo should be win. Like, oh, you didn't see it or was not able to do it while the other team was. Well, that's on you. So yes, they can make games quick, but yeah, this is not like
You have twice as many
even
people.
if you have even if bingo is not a win, it gives extra point. The game is very done in a lot of moments anyway. So let people have their wins with bingos like that. That's always been my take on it.
And also you have, oh no, another tragic death by Jack here.
Yeah.
To finish my point, I was going to say you have twice as many people to finish a bingo faster, but you have twice as many eyes to also see these bingo threats and potentially find a counter to them early.
Yeah. And like we were put in a situation where we don't normally play with a lot of people as we are playing right now. Like Nike and Champa are not used to playing together. Jack and Loci are not used to being teammates as well. Myself and Satan it's like the first time ever that we play 2v2 together. So we don't necessarily know what the other will do and how it's going and how to call out stuff. And like how to stay in the game, so it's not easy to play 2v2 in those circumstances.
This format's also hard with so much open map. You know, we're so used to this, especially for base game, we're so used to this pattern of getting map versus marking squares. But in this case, you have so much map, right? Nike's making this play to go for Limgrave bosses, making a ton of hidden progress. 3 Limgrave bosses
and Jack
already
gets
down.
it.
Jack gets the Elemer.
Good job, Jack.
And finds Helfin Steeple. So despite the fact losing Death's Poker, finds probably the best bingo weapon of all time in Helfin Steeple.
I think he upgraded his golden Albert for a while, so I don't know if
I'm
he's
not
gonna
sure if you're
switch.
going to switch at this point, but if there was ever a weapon to switch for, it's this one.
Yeah, but like you have Fate from the Albert, and
Yeah.
then you have need Intel. Like you would need to have Renala killed. Sorry, so no, it's not. And now the
Ooh, we have a
two-handed
death
sword?
from Champa.
Oh!
Champa has
Oh,
a death going for the two-handed sword talisman.
This honestly might have saved the
This
game.
could
for-
save the game so
Champa
much because
or
now
Tackle
Lokai's
Loci, yeah.
Lokai's going for demi-human swordsman, and I'm not sure if Champa has made this run yet.
I think he reached the altar, the Dragon Communion altar, but he didn't
Yeah.
go further than this. So
Having to
right
redo this
now-
run, like this two-handed
Yeah.
sword talisman is kind of a little bit of a menace. It's going to be a fantastic pickup either way for Champa, but this might give Loci just enough time to win. He just has to have the confidence to say, hey, I'm going to full send this demi-human swordsman. It's a really bad habit of a lot of DLC players to do a lot of pivoting. This is one of those times you don't pivot.
No, like you need one of those two blocks. So Jack opting to do Limgrave bosses, probably to do a bit of safety plays in case Loci is not able to kill the demi-human swordsman. He's like, yeah, I would need this. But now he probably knows that he is behind on them. Like the 2 Blue Dancer charm is marked, the Blood on Knight as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is a tough situation. But now Loci doing the new wing skip, the nice new skip that to get to Kara's Hidden Grave. I don't know if he practiced
And we see a Margit
the other
6
one, the
parries
one to
kill.
Mariga, but
Good mark there. Now, this is
Yep.
also really nice progress that Loci is making for a block on that row 5, potentially. Especially since we know that Everjail is down. We know that with 4 hefty pots, Champa has access to a jail. Not getting forced into Godskin Noble would be really nice here. Loci
Okay,
having
and,
access.
yeah, he did not do the new skip, so I assume he did not practice it yet. But we shall see about Champa for the wing skip. And if Champa knows the new skip, he will reach it at about the same time. Like it saves about 30 seconds. Like it's not that much for the demi-human swordsman. Like more like 20. It's still quite huge. So it might be close. Like Loci dies once, Champa gets it. Like, and the demi-human swordsman is a menace. He can kill you quite quickly.
There's also going to be a really scary thing that we're going to see coming up here right now, where it looks like not only is Champa going for this skip, but there's no stake over by that demi-human swordsman. If you die, you go back to your last grace. So the players will have to be a little bit careful.
And Champa knows the new one. Champa knows the new one.
Champa knows the new one. But it looks like we're going to have both players kind of coming into this fight near the same time. It looks like, Torrent being low on health. I'm not sure if there's another damage. Yeah, we're going to have to... It looks like we're going to get back into here. You can Wild Strikes the demi-human swordsman to death, but I'm not sure if Champa's going to have enough time. And if he didn't do Wild Strikes on ADM, I'm not sure if he's going to try it here.
This is basically the game on right here. Good fight for Loci right now.
Loci gets the stagger. It looks like we're going to get the kill on the demi-human, and there's the mark. That is not only a fantastic save, it shuts down that threat, shows that he has presence in Cerulean, which means he probably has presence on the Deathrite Bird. He has a really decent weapon for the Deathrite Bird. Shuts down that row and builds a row 2. And row 2 is also terrible marks. Terrible blocks.
Now Jack of Loci can just read a bit more now. But they're still going for Limgrave bosses. I think Nike now is just switching a bit to Black Knife Assassin, which are still in Limgrave, continue that streak of his. But yeah, this was very close. But the death on the 2-handed sword talisman is what made Loci able to grab that square. So
this is
it's never over. Something can happen to the other teams. So keep your head in the game and continue playing.
This is why tilting is probably what loses more games than anything else. What I was mentioning before with the Deathrite Bird being a really nice block and Loci having a pretty decent weapon for it, looks like going for it now. This is a very scary fight because if I remember correctly, Lokai's maybe 3 Skidoo, 4 at most?
Maybe,
This Deathrite Bird is going to absolutely destroy as we see there, you get tagged and suddenly you're chunking 2 heals.
Yeah, and he has a somber weapon that does not have only damage on it, so you cannot put more damage with the sacred in this case. So
the good news is
this
the
fight
Ash of
even
War is
worse.
good for headshots, but it looks like we're not
that
even
much,
abusing
to
that.
be honest. Yeah, not that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like you
Oh,
have so much of a long way.
Death
wing
Ray
up
Bird
time.
takes out the Grave Bird. Let's go.
Yeah, the wind up for the Ash of War is so long that you will get it, so it's not even that good of a strategy.
Yeah. Looks like we have a little bit of luck playing out here for Loci as getting the Death Ray Bird whiffs. I'm trying to pay attention to the other screens, but we have such an interesting fight here with Loci. This is a rough one to go for. Down to 5 pots already, not even at the halfway point in the Death Ray Bird's health bar. Loci will have to be careful here. All right, good stagger. We're going to see massive damage from that Ash of War.
Yeah, and I think Jack is down to his last Limgrave boss. Yeah, we see him at 5. So he's probably going to do an Everjail for it. I think he's on the way to Storm Hill. Yeah, exactly. So
this is a really nice one. We
Crucible
get
Knight.
another stagger. This is huge for Loci. If Loci, I think, only needs... Ooh, misses the riposte. That's going to hurt a little bit because the damage isn't so great. But if the headshot damage probably would have been a nice 2-shot. Can
Just
either...
do it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you could try greeting for an Ash of War or just say, no, we're going to fight this normally. Not going to get super greedy with it. Looks like drinking the blue to potentially greed for that Ash of War and then gets the kill with it.
Nice. Really well played.
Bringing
You can
it
see the
back
patience,
really
no
well.
panic. Yep. During that time, Champa is making his way back section, so he can pretty much freely go to the Golden Braid. Like, he knows that with this, Loci has spent way too much time south to be able to contest on it. So he's gonna grab that Golden Braid. That's gonna be access to the to Meteor as well. We know he has access to some legendary Spirit Ashes because he went to base Rao, and Nike is doing the Assassins now. So after the column 5 was blocked, now they are looking to do column 3.
Yeah. This is also a really interesting play to be made. Well, Jack of Loci made an amazing comeback with, you know, getting a really nice snipe on the Demi-Human Swordsman, doing the Charo's Death Right Bird to get that block, and now they have a really good spread of blocks. Champa and Nike made a very, very, I think, wise decision to say, as soon as Demi-Human Swordsman was blocked, saying, there's no point continuing in this area of the map, let's go elsewhere, get set up, and I think we're going to see Nike here upgrade that Death's Poker to at least +4, whereas Champa's making good map progress going backside.
Yes. Trying to think about what is the plan for Jackalokai to kind of come back from it. They will need Meteor probably, because like we just said, Nike is gonna get Assassins and Champa's prey on Braid. He's now aiming to do something else. I don't know. Maybe
Jack
the
is currently
jails?
working towards Dragonheart bosses, so they are looking at least threatening that row 2.
Row 2, yeah. Row 2 can become interesting.
Especially
like, they might just
since
decide
that
to send
Meteor...
it.
The question is, we noticed that Jack got a little bit tilted and was kind of spamming that go next. And I know that a lot of times when Jack gets into these moods, he just wants the game to be over. And it could be now that he brought the game back, they brought the game back, they're now in a better position. It's that mindset is kind of carrying over, and he's, let's just bingo. Let's just go for the bingo. And now positioning way more aggressively because of it.
Yeah. And now it's Loci reaching towards back section. He's gonna catch up on Champa soon. Champa is going for the jail, so probably the helmet and the 2 jail at the bottom
No,
left.
just grabbing the Savage Lion's Claw for that Ash of War. So now we
Okay,
have double
never mind.
status.
Never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. Holy.
I think it would have been nice to potentially continue and just like have that map progress so you don't have to redo that run later if you go for the jail. But it looks like Trump is also maybe a little bit confused. I know that Nike's doing a little bit of setup here, so it's very, very possible that what we're seeing is Champa and Nike are talking about their game plan right now, and so Champa's just like thinking about, okay, what's our next play?
Let me set up. Yeah, let me set up during that time.
Yeah. So
Jack post ego fighting clarity I think hard, but it was not even ego fighting. He kept dying to running section, so that was unfortunate. But yeah,
it's ego running, not ego fighting. Get it right.
Ego running, exactly.
Yeah, no, it wasn't ego running. It was, I think, the correct decision for Jack to go for that play at that time, right? It was. I understand the tilt. Because you lose this, like, not only are you losing time on this square, you are thinking, I could potentially lose this square, and then we get forced into PCR or 4 Black Knife Assassins, which is just not a good thing to be forced into.
To be fair, column 1 could become something as well, and I think Champa is draining the water because of 3 spirits and 1 helmet as well. So there's 2 3 spirits in the Church District, and with the Dragonheart bosses, the Everjail being done, and Imbue Sword Key being easy to grab, maybe that was a counterplay. Like, putting a threat towards row 2, but then really doing column 1, and Champa might be already working on a counterplay to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Champa's kind of already cooking that counterplay a bit. Maybe this is like what we were talking about earlier, where I'm like, teams having 2 sets of eyes can really help you notice these threats earlier. So we're talking about this threat now. It's very likely that when we saw Champa doing that little potty walk, it was either him noticing this play or Nike noticing this play and saying, hey, maybe we need to like do Tree Spirits to stop them from getting a potential sneaky column 1 bingo on us.
And he's doing them. He's going that way. That's interesting. I don't think I would have made that call. Like, this is a very, very nice, like, call to make, because this could have been a big danger. Like, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I would never have thought in this position to go about column 1. Like, I would have thought about row 2, not column 1.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Maybe even the diagonal.
I think the row 2 is the backup play, right? Like, that's plan B. We're going to set up this row 2. We're going to have access to this row 2 because they're making good plays to kind of get access, right? Jack is upgrading a weapon, which will be really nice for, getting access to capital and doing that. You have Loki's making progress back section here towards Loft, potentially picking up the Golden Braid, which gets you really close to one of the horns, already has access to the other horn. So I think this is a really nice play to be like, we have all this access to row 2, despite potentially looking at column 1.
And this seems like Nike going up the academy.
Uh-oh.
That's gonna be 1 imbued sword ski.
Okay.
Dodging the dog. Always dodge a dog.
We're going to see Jack go for Magma Worm Theodorix for one of your Dragonheart bosses. If y'all have never fought if you never fought Theo, this boss is a menace. Absolutely massive health bar and really good at dragging you into the lava that can one-shot you. And if it doesn't one-shot you, it just drains your health so fast once you're in it. So this is going to be a very, very dangerous play, but a very nice play, because this will get Jack all the money he needs for the rest of the run.
Assuming he gets it quick. Like, it doesn't have any status effect with that weapon. So
yeah, no status. And as we see right there, one shot on the first move. This might tell him Theo might not be the right play. Theo is one of these terrifying bosses to go for, where you can go for it early. I mean, it's just a magma worm, right? But,
yeah, but it's
massive
it was
health
a hitless
bar.
fight. It was a hitless fight.
You have to hitless it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jack pivot once he knows.
Hitless Jack.
Yeah. he saw that it would have to be a hitless fight, and I think that's what really convinced him to just say, yeah, this isn't the play. And I think him dying early was probably the best thing that could have happened to him there. Satan in chat, screw that worm. He's the one that has been practicing doing that worm like first square. It's terrible.
It's not because you have access quickly to something that it's a good idea to do it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And both base game players do not have that much money put in like their stats. Like vigor is very, very low, so they are very squishy.
Yeah.
Second TLD skip from Champa. Does it without any problem.
We have Tree Spirits potentially being closed out here. Also, interesting that I just noticed this. Nike decided to not go for the Death's Poker and instead decided to use the Dragon Scale Blade. I am kind of surprised that we have a seed with Health and Steeple and Death's Poker in play, and neither player went for it. Like either of those weapons.
Is there any things like normally you would say, oh, Death's Poker is not good for them, so I would not go Death's Poker?
So on this board, the big one is Ancestor Spirit. Ancestor Spirit is not good for Death's Poker. Other than that, it is absolutely immaculately insane against every other boss in the game. Like, at least on this board. Like, there's absolutely nothing on this board you would struggle to kill. Like, I think if you had Death's Poker, this Tree Spirit's already dead.
And I think it is, right? Not yet.
No. Just the explosion. It's just laying it on the ground against any big enemy is really nice. It's also a personal preference thing, right? If you're not a speedrunner that's maximizing your damage on Death's Poker, its moveset is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So any boss fight that you have to actually fight and you can't just Ash of War spam is where it struggles. So.
And Jack just killed Exikes, which is number 3. And Champa is gonna finish the 4th Tree Spirit. We saw Nike do
Oh no! Champa gets one shot by the Tree Spirit.
Oh, cast a curse. Holy, I'm sorry, Champa. I owe you one. That was not nice from me.
This is a little bit scary. We're now in a very interesting race here. We have Nike going Red Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, looks like Jack is going back to Theo. He has decided that this is how he wants to end his Dragonheart boss's run. It's going to be Theo, or it's going to be nothing at all. We might be in for a long fight here.
And during that time, like, we didn't talk much about it because it was mostly just running for Loci, but he grabbed the Golden Braid, prepping everything for Mether. So now they seems to be looking at that road too, or at least forcing Nike to have to kill Moog in the sewers. So that means killing 2 Remembrances, killing DTS, going all the way down. So that's a commitment, but it's not that bad for Nike. Like, he at least will be able to grab Imbued Swordsky right here and completing another square soon.
I also think something that's worth noting is that if we look at this board for DLC, there's only a couple big squares and then some combined stuff. 3 DLC Helms is the last one that is, I guess, sort of quick to do. That doesn't involve a big kill. We see Jack get hit once in one shot because that's what Theo does, unfortunately.
And he's not happy about it.
I don't blame him, not at all. Theo is an absolute monster of a boss fight. It is probably it's deceptively hard, right? I think we can all agree Theo is one of those bosses that's really easy to ego percent against because, like, it's just a Magmorm. It's just a Magmorm, but he's not just a Magmorm for some reason.
Is there any other one that is quite accessible beside Theo? I assume it's the fastest one, and that's why he wants to go to it.
So the other options that he has would be the Magma Worm in in Kaled. He has Magma Worm Makar technically, which isn't too crazy of a run to do. And then he also has Grail. Not Grail, but Grail. Because
Grail,
for
yeah.
some reason they have like the same name.
Except one O. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably also just wants the money.
Theo is definitely the fastest one to have access to, but I think if you also account for how long it takes to kill Theo with how chonky this boss is, it probably would have been faster to go for another one, but hindsight 2020, right?
Yeah. Like, the damage is still good. Like, the damage Jack is doing is still quite nice, considering.
I also know that Jack is
far.
newer to base games, so I'm not sure how much practice he has specifically with Theo. It could be a situation where if he doesn't practice Theo a ton, he fought it with a status weapon once, and Theo went perfectly fine because the big chonky health bar isn't that bad when you have status. But note that these are like fully charged R2s with the Golden Vow passive at +9, right? Like, it's doing yellow damage, but this damage is really not fantastic. 811 damage for like this weapon is kind of crazy.
And another big slam.
And he's
Oh,
getting a little greedy, but it pays off.
Very nice.
He's got some really nice punishes here. One thing that I know Jack is really good at is maximizing his punishes. Also want to go ahead and point out while Jack is hopefully finishing out this fight here, we have Helms being done by Champa in the DLC, whereas Loci is entering the fight for Meta, it looks like.
Yeah,
we get the 4 Dragon Hearts, we get the Theo, that's fantastic. Looks like the It's Just a Magma Worm finally locked in, and we got that square.
And on Nike's side, he grabbed 2 of the imbued sword ski. Champa grabbed his, so he is missing only the Celia one, and he is bomb rushing it right now.
So we're going to see the keys. I am actually kind of curious. I don't think that there is a possible bingo threat for Gaius Disagreement here. So
There
this
is not, but there is 2 squares that are going to be completed very, very quickly. The imbued sword ski, the elements, and I think that Nike has a couple of assassins dead, so it will really just be row 2 that will be left after this. You have Diagonal, though. Diagonal still exists, unless...
well,
Nike
that
gets
is for
the
Jack of
knife
Loci
assassin.
that has a Diagonal. Gaius Disagreement
Yes.
cannot mark any bingos. So
Yeah.
for them, it's get your blocks, and for, I think for Jack of Loci here, they're aware of the fact that this is a majority game for them, or at least for Gaius Disagreement. They know that they're forced into a majority game, and so if they decide to pick off some of these earlier squares, maybe try to stave off some of this early synergy, they could be ahead on majority instead of having it be a tied 8-8 game. Like, Moog and Meta are very long squares to force your opponent into. Although we do see Loci closing out on it, maybe they do want to just full send Moog Sewers.
He also needs to be very careful. If Anna dies to gravity, he cannot continue, because stuff that is gated behind cannot be gravity killed. Or you cannot just die to Hannah itself.
Yeah.
She's doing damage. Claws of Night are a very good weapon.
This is an interesting situation where do you walk into the meta fight and just, oh, doesn't matter, dies to Anna here?
Wow. Shredded.
I always sleep on how much damage Anna does. Anna does so much damage so fast, especially if you get a quick bleed proc. Actually, now that I look at it, is Loci only wearing the chest piece, no pants? That could be part of why. Wearing the gauntlets, though.
Yeah, I think he needed a bit more money to make sure he could upgrade the Dragon Hunter Great Katana.
Yeah. That could be part of it. Bleed does build up pretty dang fast, and 1 bleed proc could be all it takes.
Jack on his way to the Godskin Noble in Volcano Manor.
This is nice. It's one of those quicker squares to pick off. I think picking off Godskin Noble and Ancestor Spirit isn't a terrible call if Jack decides to do it, because
and
as
he doesn't have a status weapon, which is nice. And he
Yeah.
doesn't have to switch weapon for it.
Well, if you notice, there is a difference in the square. It is Godskin Noble now without sleep instead of without
Sleep.
status.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. I thought it was.
Yeah, no, that is one of the few changes that was made to the square list. We didn't change a lot of the squares because we wanted to keep the feel of Season 5, but we wanted to make sure that we had some squares that were, we would say, if we removed a square in Bingo Club because we found it problematic, like killing Mimic Tier consumables only, we removed those squares, and then for squares like Godskin Noble without status, we changed it to without sleep because that is how it is in Bingo Club.
And Loci had his revenge against Anna, finished her with an Avada Kedavra with the Dragon Hunter Katana, so he's got it.
This game feels so much different from a lot of the other games where all of our players are heading in different directions and all making very interesting and unique takes and read on the board. But it's all keeping the game super even.
So he has a slash on his katana, which is the weakness of Matter. Never forget to count to 3 against Matter. Up to 3. Jack would have corrected me.
Huge bleed, great
yep.
stagger.
Matter has low poise, and you can vacuum repose. So when she does some of her combos, you want to do charge heavies. Like 2 of them basically stagger her. So it's not a complete shutdown, but you can do a lot of damage. Another bleed proc, phase transition, couple of attack. He's gonna
if we get another
stagger heavy, and that's gonna
here,
be a stagger. A charge attack would have staggered, I think.
Yeah. We're really looking for a stagger here, but it looks like it might be going away just because of all this stalling that Meta is doing, unfortunately. In the meantime, we do have Champa working on Ralva for those helms. Looks like we are going to get a closeout on that soon. We got the stagger.
He kept it.
I think if we get no bleed,
proc.
but I think that we're going to get a big proc here soon, but it might be too late. Meta will probably already be dead. Loci is greeting a little bit, but it pays off. We get the death on Meta. There's going to be a huge mark and a massive threat down the throat of Nike, who has to respond.
It feels like Nike kind of already knew, though. Like, oh, okay. It was an early mark, unmarked, and then marked back because he did it at the boss defeated and not at the acquirement of the item. So it was within 4 seconds. Like, you didn't overdid it, so there's no problem about that. Might have disrupted a bit of concentration on the other players, but they seem to be doing okay. But yeah, Nike is already killing a Remembrance, so he will have capital access.
Yeah, this is a little bit rough. The good news about seeing Godskin Noble go down is it tells Nike, I don't have to hardcore focus Moog Sewers because Jack is obviously not marking this. You did 4 Dragonheart bosses, and then, what was it? Maybe 6 minutes later, marking Godskin Noble without sleep. It's very easy to assume Jack didn't really do anything else to set up Moog Sewers. Maybe I can go and get some Black Knife Assassins or do the Ancestor's Spirit to then make sure that he doesn't lose on the majority game while pushing for Moog Sewers.
And now he can just do Renala, it's the second one, and make his way towards Capital. There is also, if we think about it, a Black Knife Assassin just before Morgoth. That could be one he's aiming to do if he gets access to Capital.
It is an interesting one to do, and it is one that I have done in this format before, so...
Champa going for the legendary Spirit Ash in the Telu Forge. He's probably going to grab 2 of them.
Jack is as well. This is the Catacomb for the Legendary Spirit Ash, so it looks like they're going to try and close out on Legendary Spirit Ashes here.
So
and I don't think Nike has his. So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in the end of Jack and Loci. Interesting.
I think Jack and Loci realized, hey, y'all have sat on this prio for way too long. You don't have this much prio on it. And now they'll just close out on the square.
They also have the luxury of not having to worry about any bingos, while Gaia's Disagreement need to worry about 2 bingos right now, which is one that is mandatory to block immediately, the Moog Sewers one.
If they get the other bingo, Well, I don't think that they have any other
There
bingo
is
that
no.
doesn't just win them
No.
the game, right? Because
Yeah.
you go
but
for Moog
Moog
Sewers.
blocks both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moog blocks both. Yeah. It just.
Yeah.
They do not have to worry about that. They can do anything else. They know Nike has to work towards it. So.
Yeah. This is also something I brought up in the last game. If Jack gets his legendary Spirit Ash before Loci gets their second one, then that means that Jack is hiding progress and Nike has no idea of knowing if Jack closed out on this now or had completed this earlier racing for Limgrave bosses or something.
Yes, that's right.
So this could be a really nice play if Jack's able to get this before, which I think he'll be able to. All you have to do...
missed his Ash of War on Renala, which means he could maybe not cycle first.
Did get the first cycle.
You got it. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
It was close. It was close.
By the way, for those that are unaware, for Renala, if you do a jumping attack, Renala doesn't stagger out of the big meteor. So you do a jumping attack and then immediately follow it up with a charge attack. And a lot of times you'll get a stagger. In this case, doesn't and gets tagged.
Oh my god.
That's so much damage. That's the big problem with Renala's little floating blue balls of death, as I like to call them. Those delayed little sorceries, I don't remember what they're called, but they do a lot of damage, and it's so easy to just like randomly get tagged by something.
Jack grabbed his legendary Ash.
Looks like we are going to be closing out on legendary Ashes here. On the other side, this is going to be an insane snipe because I'm not sure if Champa has grabbed Telu's Forge. Also,
yes, he has it. He did it first. So this is a race between Loci and Nike.
Oh no, Nike is in the wrong catacomb. This is the duelist catacomb, which drops a named Spirit Ash, not a legendary Spirit Ash. So unfortunately, if Nike goes for this, it's not his square.
Oh.
Hopefully, though, it won't come down to that because it's looking like Loci should get...
No, he's still a ways off.
No, he's still a ways off. This could be a absolute tragic snipe. Nike unmarked it.
He's like, oh no, it's not the good one.
Yeah, he realized as he went in there, that's not a legendary. He's going to go for Finlay, which might be faster. But I think it's already too late. Come on.
Did you see if Loci grabbed his first one, Ornis, or not?
Yes. Loci, I believe, has already grabbed Ornis and then ran backwards through Rao.
Oh no, he doesn't have the elevator. Okay, it's Loci's.
Yeah, it is Loci's. Yeah. That is so unfortunate. If Nike went for Finlay off rip. Ooh, Loci slips!
Oh my god!
I don't think that this is going to buy him enough time, but it's going to be a lot closer now. And in the meantime, Jack is going for Ancestor Spirit.
This is so close. Okay, he's in the right place. He's taking a bit more time. But he'll get it first.
Yeah, there's no way. You just have to run up this and climb up a ladder. Finlay is a little bit a ways. Oh, but it's so close. Nike is definitely going to be kicking himself because this definitely would have been it. If it's any consolation, I believe Nike is actually going the wrong way for Legendary Spirit Ashes anyways.
Hey, that's tough on the mantle.
Oh no, it was right here. Yeah, this is where the Finlay Ash is. It is right here. So that was an elevator pull, right? Like, if the elevator was already down, Nike would have gotten that. Or if Nike just didn't go to that first catacomb, would have gotten it.
This was so close.
That was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. We do have Champa going for Mesmer here, which is looking like, hey, I don't have much else to do. I guess I'm going to go set up for Consort Radon. Not going for the jails right away, which I think is probably a good play. I think you want to likely close out on your jails, ever jails, before going full Radon, but for DLC, there's not much to do.
Since they saw, like, No, even like I was gonna say, since they saw a couple of stuff including Everjail like bowls, I was thinking, no, they could respect it, but like you do not need to. Like it's still just a couple of Everjail that Knight could do very quickly.
Yeah.
So aiming on consort Radon. That means that unless there's massive incidents on the part of Jack and Loci, like it's gonna be an Ancestor Spirit, which Jack is doing right now, and the Everjails are already done. So that's game.
Yeah.
That late square on Spirit Ash.
Yeah, that legendary Spirit Ash is...
It
It would have been
the
10-10,
death on the two-ended
right?
the death on the two-ended sword talisman that allowed Loci to kill the demi-human swordsman faster. Oh, this is that is
Yeah.
insane.
There were a lot of insane plays, and like this is also... I'm not sure if you watched back the first match of the day with
No,
your
I didn't
game.
have time to. I did not have time
Yeah,
to.
there were so many interesting games, but if you watch back that game, you're gonna see a lot of similar situations pop up. A brand new format like this, there's so much sniping going around, and oh man, it's so great to see how these boards are being read and how they're being played. So many like simple silly mistakes that you like, they're not really even mistakes, it's just unfamiliarity with all that you can do, because there's so much tiny minutia in playing bingo, small little routing decisions or things to think of, right? Like Nike figured out that Finlay would have been a really good legendary Spirit Ash to go for, whereas Jack went for the Catacomb. That's something that like Knight could have had a massive prio on, and Jack probably would have gone for Finlay if that was the case. It's so nice to like see how these players are reacting to the format and forming new lines and strategies.
And I think we're gonna see a very dead moose quite quickly. Like holy damage with Golden Vow +9 weapon, this moose is gonna die very fast.
I'm not even gonna lie, I was watching Jack light the braziers, and then accidentally my eyes wandered over to Nike lighting the braziers, and I confused them for the same person.
Oh god, look at this.
Yeah, that is insane damage on the little moose. Having a Grace down here, Ancestor Spirit is so much more rushable than I think people even realize. Such a squishy fight.
Yeah, and like at this point, Jack has so much HP, he's not gonna die to this.
Gets the Ancestor
couple of
Spirit.
attacks, but
12-9. I think at this point, it is a matter of closing out. We have demi-human ons. We haven't had enough of killing demi-human sword masters. Woo! A little closer at the end, but Loci ekes it out. Now it's all just a matter of closing out on this square, which it doesn't look like Champa or Nike are looking at right now. I think they are in the process of losing the 50-50, as it were. You kind of have to guess in a situation of like this, where what is my opponent going to go for? And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to be making the wrong call.
Yeah, it feels a bit strange to me to decide to sand consort in this situation.
Also, I just want to point this out. Clear 3 Everjails in 2 jails. Jack is looking at clearing the Ordina Everjail potentially.
But doesn't he already have 3?
Oh, does he already have 3?
He killed
Oh, he did
Stormhill.
Bulls? Stormhill. But he ever killed Darrowell. But
because
if you think about it, Ordina is an Everjail and has Black Knife Assassins. It could be a really smart play.
I think he has his 3 already. It's ticked up to 3, so
it could be. I could be wrong. It's so easy to miss.
No,
Jack
he's
going for this cheeky skip.
Black Knife Assassin. Yeah, he's going towards the Black Knife Assassin Catacomb.
I'm a little bit of a hater of this skip. It's so finicky. As you can see by Jack on his torrent. Meanwhile, Nike is fighting a Black Knife Assassin right now.
Now you can see he's smiling when stuff is happening. Now, when you're in the lead, it's not go next, right?
Which is why you don't spam go next.
Yeah, recover, and that's what they did.
Every game is a game that you can win. Jack quitting out here.
Oh, alive. Nike's alive. Okay.
Not even close. Ooh, that might be close. The tick damage, you can see it going down. Is Nike gonna die to it? No, gets it just in time. Whoo, not even close, baby. Gets the kill on the Black Knife Assassin. GG's to Nike.
Very good.
We're gonna have a Romina fight coming up here, and then very soon we'll be having a jail.
Labyrinth.
I wonder if
Yeah, it's Labyrinth. Yeah.
yeah. I wonder what this. Oh, okay, I see. Jack doing more skips for a reason I don't know. The for those that aren't aware, you can just run to the Black Knife Catacomb. You don't have to come up here for that. So
He's trying to show up during time. Like, this is how you do skips.
I mean, it's very possible that he just doesn't know that. But yeah, you can just run directly to the Black Knife Catacomb. There is a straight path.
He might also be like, we know for sure we've got the jails done or something. Like, he might just be having a bit of fun. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't like. I don't think there's enough info. But yeah.
Yeah.
Bro is fully lost. Yeah. He is.
Yeah, this is just an unfortunate case of losing the 50-50, I think, on Champa's side and deciding to full send PCR. Which isn't
And
the worst
GG's.
But dang, GG's.
Jack of Loci winning it.
Jack of Loci winning it after almost losing off rip. That was insane.
Very,
really
very
awesome
close.
for Loci to keep a cool head on his shoulders. Nike putting some dance moves.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Would you like to invite
Yes.
Jack and Loci up?
Yeah. Right, I'm DMing them. There we go.
Wow. And then let's get. Where is?
Hello.
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 Welcome.
Welcome in. What a match.
Good thing we did. Good thing we didn't go next.
Of all the games that have ever been pulled back, that one should not have been pulled back.
No, something must have happened early on for that column 5 not to materialize.
It was very, very close. You're gonna see something tragic that happened to Champa. He died at the chest for two-handed sword talisman and made him a tiny bit behind you for the swordsman.
Yeah. But I am kind of curious about y'all's thoughts going into this match, especially like as y'all were playing out the early game, because we saw two very different game plans from both teams.
I feel like we did the exact same thing, so that's interesting that you say that. But I hated this board. It was all these kind of like legacy style bingo squares that Nike is gonna destroy me on every single time. So as soon as this board was rolled, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be unbelievably awful. And then Loci carried the game big time.
I misread, although I started off horrendously because I misread 4 hefty pots as like the standard 5, so that's why it took some more time than I probably should have done.
Yeah, like you kind of had a couple of like decision, like not knowing what to do. It felt like Loci, you were on the way to ADM, then decides to go balls and then go back to something, then pivoting right away. Like what? We say it was different because both base game players chose different classes. DLC players did a different route immediately. Like Loci, you went towards the Katana check, while Champa went straight towards Bonnie Village instead, and
Ah, okay.
developing a bit of Shadow Altus. So we're like, oh, it's very, very different approach.
Yep.
But that's why we were asking what you wanted to do first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do ADM first, and then we had the idea of the like hefty pots because of the duo square, and then when that got took away, the golden hippo, even though it was a trash way to go front side, like back section and south was the whole thing, but I really didn't want Champa to get that diagonal square for the column because it would just cause a lot of future issues. And then after that,
That was also a snipe. He was in the fight, and then
okay.
you got him on it. So
Yeah.
that gave you a bit of power compared to him at the beginning.
Yeah. And then the other diagonal for the ball square, so at least we potentially could do another diagonal threat because those are always good for distracting opponents. And then finally back to me ADM, but by the time after I'd done all that, it was obviously gone. Yeah, and then I just spent some time away until I thought I could sneak the demi-human swordsman because Champa hadn't marked it.
Yeah.
Because we honestly thought it was over with that column 5.
On the base game side, obviously there was kind of this 3 of each pot rush at the beginning of the game, and we know that in the end, the opposing team kind of snuck that away from you. But from there, we actually saw y'all took kind of entirely different paths, and I was just kind of curious what your thought process was after getting sniped on the 3 of each pot, and then pivoting away, I guess, to get set up for the later game.
I got set up to kill balls, and then Loci mentioned that he wasn't able to do it, so I pivoted away from that to Bloodhound Knight, got sniped, and then I was like, screw this, I'm setting up. And from there, like, the row 3 was pretty spooky, so I did an early Elmer, and Shaded Castle was just like an absolute disaster. I hope you guys had fun watching it.
It was a bit
so much
painful.
You were not
yeah.
the only one having a disaster, which helped a lot.
That
You
does
were.
help.
We saw you
That's why
spamming
stay in
go
the game,
next,
man.
and we're like, stay in the game.
I was
Yeah.
playing. I was playing. I just wanted to express my frustration.
Oh yeah, we were manifesting the energy, being like, Jack, just please stay in this. Y'all have a solid chance because we did have a couple issues. There were a couple really close races that I kind of want to talk about once we get the other team up in here. But I was just curious, like, your thought process kind of after the 3 pots, what you were thinking of. And it sounds like you were trying to go for a couple combined squares and getting the block with Elmer for that row 3, so it never became an issue where you were forced into Black Knife Assassins or Consort Radon.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
yeah,
a bit lost after the early game because, like, again, I hated this board. Like, literally not a single square that I would want to see. Like, I didn't kill a remembrance this game. This is not a Jack game.
Yeah.
But like, we did have some nice threat opportunities on the board, which I have to imagine kind of kept us in it in some way. I mean, obviously the row 2, but that didn't come out until a little later. But like the top right diag, once I managed to steal Limgrave bosses from Nike. The column 1 was presenting as well, and then obviously the row 2 probably helped us out a lot in the late game. I don't know exactly how much he went for it, but it was just kind of like less about the actual tasks and more about like what the story of the board was.
He had 2 remembrances down, 2 great runes down, so he could get access to Moog if he wanted. The biggest part in the late that hurt him was the legendary Spirit Ashes, because Nike ported to the wrong catacomb, killed it, realized it, unmarked, ported towards Finley. The elevator was up, so he had to wait for it to go down, and then Loci marks. So
well, I was going to say,
was
before we get
very
too much
painful.
into these snipes,
Yeah.
can we bring in the other team?
Yep.
I'd also like to
yep,
hear
yep.
their perspective, because we had, there were probably more snipes than you thought, but I'm imagining you felt this pressure that there were a lot of snipes that kind GG's this match.
Yeah,
GG's, gentlemen.
GG's, guys.
GG's overall. Strong mentals this game with a couple snipes, some legendary snipes on both sides.
Shut the fuck up. with that legend.
Some legendary snipes on
Nike,
both
Nike,
sides.
Nike,
Yeah.
Nike, Nike.
Yeah, I gotta say, Nike, that was really
That was the
smart for you to
biggest-
go Finlay, though, because
Yeah.
if that elevator was down, you potentially won that square. Like, it was that close.
Or even just not the catacomb.
I mean, obviously not the
That was
catacomb,
sad.
but, like,
I
making that
I
decision to
blanked
go
on-
Finlay.
Blanked on. It's not a legendary or legendary. I was thinking it's the cemetery shade
Yeah.
for some reason in my mind. I don't know why.
I did want
I
to
think I
ask
got lucky
y'all.
because I was thinking that this was the named Spirit Ash Square, and I just happened to port to Lutel.
Oh.
Ooh,
Okay,
that would have
That
that would have
could've
been
a very
insane.
bad mismark.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Nike and Champa, what was y'all's sort of early game plan? I'm pretty sure we saw it play out, but I'm kind of curious what y'all were thinking going for that early aggressive play.
Was the fifth line, fifth row, fifth column? Holy, I can talk. Fifth column, was it like the plan from the start?
It became a plan after he got ADM. We didn't even think about it. And he's like, "Oh, if I get ADM, I can do them human swordsman, and I can do that line."
I was looking at the line from the beginning, and I thought that we have to block that if we don't go for it. Because I said I want to go hippo, right? But then we need to worry about column 5. Okay, so how do we do that? So I just thought, saw that there were 2 pot squares, so we just did that to block column 5, really. But then, so that I could go hippo, because I was thinking Loci is definitely going to go ADM here. And then he went hippo. So
Yeah.
we ended up just doing the column 5 then.
I did want to go ahead and ask a question. Now that we have both teams in here, I think it'd be nice to kind of get both players or both teams' perspectives on this. In the DLC, we noticed Champa kind of came off really, really hot with the start, and then both of you went to the Golden Hippo. And I was kind of curious from Loci's perspective, why after the Golden Hippo you didn't immediately go ADM? Because it seemed like a really strong play to start with.
It was just the case of the ball square, the FGL's going into diagonal, so it's like keeping another threat open. I think ADM was the stronger play for definite because that caused a lot of issues losing that square. But it was just like an idea that didn't work out as well as the ADM play would have done. So yeah, just decision making.
It's probably a bit of my fault as well. I planted a seed of balls a little early, and he kind of didn't want to leave me hanging because I had like a Grace over there. So I think that was probably just like a bit of a bad distraction on my part.
A bit of unfortunate timing, essentially.
Yeah. We were just kind of interested because it didn't just happen on Loci's side of the screen. It also happened with Champa, where I'm not sure if Champa was kind of holding off because you thought that Loci would instantly pivot there, and you were like, well, I want to get some value if I get sniped anyways, or if you were just like, you know what, maybe I just want to go and buy some talismans or something. I don't know.
Huh?
Game is over. Stop marking squares.
Stop
My
marking
bad,
squares.
I unmarked my mistake.
Well, you both kind of did a stutter before going ADM. I don't remember. I remember Loci pivoted for bowls, and then I believe Champa, you pivoted to either grab another Grace or something before instantly going ADM. And I was just kind of curious, like, your thought process on that. If you were holding in case Loci was going to get sniped and you're like, I want to get some extra value out of this, or you were discussing with Nike being like, did we just send column 5? And you just wanted some thinking time.
Well, I remember after ADM, I grabbed 1 Grace towards grab 1 Grace towards base Rao. But that was just to attempt to time the blue dancer and 2-handed sword.
That makes sense.
We were very much wondering whether it would be good for me to go for the demi-human swordsman first or to secure the blue dancer 2-handed sword talisman first. And we ended up thinking that the 2-handed sword and blue dancer would be better to go first. So it was just about trying to time that, but we failed it. I ended up getting the two-handed sword way later than he got the blue dancer, so we just
Yeah.
messed up there. But I did so much weird shit in the early game because it's, you know, a format I'm not used to. I go out the blocks with 160k,
Yeah.
like not having spent the money, forgetting to
Mhm.
get the whetstone for things, and like I'd make so many of those small mistakes. Like
Yeah.
if I was a little bit more used to the format, maybe I could have gotten the swordsman because it ended up being pretty close.
But
Yeah.
the two-handed sword, like it wasn't for its guardian, but I won't say the name because there's an H word, so I'm terrified of those now. But like that guardian was like killing you just before. That was the difference. Like you had to run it back to
Yeah,
not get
that's
to the
true.
swordsman. So that was the difference. Like if
Yeah.
you grabbed it at that
Plus,
point,
like-
you probably had the swordsman as well. So
Yeah.
Plus, like
Yeah.
Jack went for Elemer when he died, so I was like, you have time for the demi-human swordsman, probably.
Yeah,
'Cause, like
no,
by
it
the
could have been.
time, but like we wouldn't be able to tell for sure, you know. Like
In a weird way, I'm kind of glad that you didn't get the demi-human swordsman, because that would have been a 30-minute bingo, and they would have had to wait an hour and a half for the next match.
The game was very, very over.
It was
Yeah, it did
it
feel like-
was over if demi-human swordsman was marked.
yeah, 'cause
And it
that
was
my
really
third
nice
boss.
that it at least extended to this, like, it was a really intense back and forth, right? I think Legendary Spirit Ash is what ended up sealing the deal, unfortunately,
Mhm.
because then it would have been
Yeah.
10-10. So even after losing like Everjails and Ancestor Spirit, the game wouldn't have been over. You still would have had at least one more square. And
Well,
Nike
Yeah, that
did
was-
have
that
a
was the
presence
whole
towards
deal.
Moog
Nike
and
had
Black
more
Knights.
assassin skilled. Nike had more assassin skilled, 2 great runes.
Mhm.
Champa had already Mesmer killed and was at Romina, so it would have been
Yeah.
very, very different. Like unless
Yeah.
like big incidents, it would have been probably on blue side.
Yeah.
That's Bingus.
It was
Breaking
Bingus.
Bingus.
It was
Bingus.
a really close match. I
Bingus.
think if y'all go back and watch the VOD, there's gonna be a lot of like really close, intense moments where I think part of this format and what makes it difficult is knowing when to go for these combined squares and knowing when to make your own progress. And I think a lot of that kind of came on display with like choosing to go Everdrill Bulls and Ensis Bulls instead of ADM could have potentially just cost the entire game if it wasn't for a Divine Bird Warrior deciding to end Champa prematurely at the Talisman.
Easily the most challenging part of this format is pivoting together. Like when
Yes.
something goes awry, like
And then,
Who knows
like,
where?
quickly
knowing
make up your mind.
knowing like what to go for and when, because like the thing that I really like about this format that doesn't exist in any other format is you actively have to work with your teammate who's making their own plays aggressively on the board, and you have no control over that side of the board. You only have control over what you can control, but at the same time you have to work together for certain squares. So it's really hard to know, when do I go for these combined squares? What squares do I prio? Maybe there's some squares that I normally wouldn't prio that I prio. Like, I think the Charo's Deathrite Bird, as early as it was from Loci, ended up being a really good call because it was a really nice block on that row 5 that potentially could have turned problematic if Knight went for an early Godskin Noble or something. And those are plays I don't think you'd ever see in regular 1v1 bingo. It's because there's, you know, these combined squares or squares in a format that you can't access that you're going to make plays for the board that you wouldn't normally make.
Yeah.
That is true.
Well,
That's me, Bingus.
Yeah.
yes. Guess I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes. Hopefully, when my continuing issues with the NPCs in Manus Meta don't continue, because that place absolutely wrecks me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Like, keep in mind, I missed TLD skip. You missed TLD skip. Like, it's gonna be the same tomorrow.
It's going to be the
course.
same. So that means that we do have
Yes.
our first matchup locked in place. We have tomorrow, it's going to be Loci and Jack versus Satan and Say. And then we'll have Nike and Champa versus Wander and Noya. So that is going to be so exciting to see.
Oh.
All of these matches are so close. Satan in chat already saying, "Uh-oh."
But I feel like this would have been a good board for Satan. Can we get that one tomorrow? Like,
What do
can
you
we
mean,
get that
uh-oh?
one
Like,
tomorrow?
after seeing
Yeah.
this performance, you scared to go up against this shit? Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
Satan over there is just like, give me center square element.
Bingo buddies seeing like Aggro saying so much like, oh, those good players experience, and then they would smoke us now. They
Also,
are clean.
also, Drink, I see your comment. Sod you. Don't have to kill me.
We may be faster, but we're also stupider.
Yeah.
Satan's hoping
Stupider.
for center square Melania, so that way he can race Jack on that.
Deal. Let's go.
Deal, center square Melania.
Guess
Cinema.
we'll have to deal with some ego fighters tomorrow, Loci. God damn it.
Yeah.
Two twip gentlemen's agreement.
Of course.
So I want to give big GGs to everyone who played. That was a lot of back and forth this match. What an amazing watch. Unfortunately, I will be signing off here. This will be the last match of the day that I'll be commentating. We have Satan SD taking over on commentary for our last match with Nike. So the stream will be ending here, unfortunately, and then Satan will be taking over streaming the last match of the day, which will be 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is in 30 minutes from now. So y'all better be there or be square. And yes, Pino, that means that the VOD will be coming out, because I'm pretty sure Bingo Club has VODs enabled. So.
Wait, do we?
Yep. I can confirm it is on
Jack?
there. It's on there.
It's on
The
there.
odds are
Perfect.
on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be signing off. I want to give a massive thank you to absolutely everybody who showed up today and is playing. This event was super fun to watch. I will be catching the VOD later.
It's super fun to watch.
It was. I hope it was super fun for everyone who was playing. I had so much fun being here, being able to commentate on all these games. I won't have a voice
It's not
tomorrow.
past tense, we're still going, Aggro.
Yeah, there's still one game.
There's still one game, guys!
There's
But I won't be
still
here for that game, so I want to give a massive shout out to everyone who was here now. And please stick around for the last game. Satan, SD, Nike are going to be there. They're absolutely fantastic bingo players. They're going to give great commentary. And then I believe the last matchup of the day, we have ZZ and Fun versus Artenki and Okami Lord, which that's going to be a really interesting matchup. Unfortunately, I have no idea how those guys really play bingo. So that's going to be really, really exciting to play. I think
Probably
to
use
play,
a
to watch.
controller or a keyboard and mouse. That would be best. Don't think any player are using dance pad or.
No dance pad players. All
Why
right,
don't you
so
take a show on
I'm
the
going to be
camera?
signing off here. If anyone has any final things that they'd like to say, please, the stage is yours.
Salut,
Thank you,
bonne
Aggro.
soirée aux Québécois. Bye.
All right. See y'all then.
Ta-da.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good one.